All right, this is for your Samurai transfer case rebuilders. This might be obvious for some, but for me, you know, visual guidance works when I'm not 100% sure. So whenever you're doing a 4-to-1, 4-9-to-1, 6-5-to-1, whatever, you know, like I didn't really see what was laid out to see which gears go where. So if I gotta do a quick video to show you, you know, this is your stock gears right here. And it does become obvious once you've actually done it. But until then, I was like questioning life. So this little guy is your centerpiece, right? This is here. So in your new gear set, this is gonna be completely swapped out. Nothing's pressed in, right? So you can tell your gear reduction, right, between the two. This is your reduction. This is just, you know, obviously your final drive setup between these two. And then your main shaft, everything gets pressed off, and then you press on the new gear, which is in place with this one. As you can tell, these are these. This guy and this guy is these two right here. So this, all in conjunction with each other, that's your difference, right? And then the last step is this little guy right here sits this way. So this is the thing that's replaced. This here, this center, and then this big guy right here that used to be this one. If that makes sense, you know, hopefully this is useful to somebody that just never done this before. Like I usually build engines, differentials, never transmissions, nor transfer cases. The videos I saw, that just flew through shit, and that's cool. You know, some people grasp stuff, some people do not. Had to watch several videos just to make sure I'm doing shit right, because I really don't want to do this again. I want this to go inside of this thing, and I want it to work. So, like I said, this is your main little shaft here that gets input, which is stuck anyway. So there you can tell side by side, you can tell the difference in the gear size. You know, you have one bearing right here, and it does have a stop. There's nothing else there. And the bearing on the top side, that just is your idler that sits into the case. You know, like I said, it obviously goes this way right here. There's that. And this guy right here is this one. And whenever you do this, that one was actually not bad at all to figure out, because my problem was this guy had the needle bearings inside of it that you're fixing to see here, right? So I'm gonna let that one fall out and sit. So mine looked like it came from the bottom of the Gulf of America, Mexico, whatever you want to call it. I did not see the spacer because it was stuck in here, and I just add 2 needle bearings, and because, you know, mine was a regular piece of shit, I was like, this isn't right. Look at this big gap. Looking at a diagram, obviously I had to find this, clean it up, sand it. So on this idler shaft here, you know, you are gonna have this little spacer. So in case you're like me, you have to knock it out of this guy, which you can see one needle bearing is still in there, which who cares? Got a new bearings. You'll grease that up, and it does stick on there permanently, but that's right there what takes up space. And of course, you're gonna have one of these top and bottom of this, which is all the other videos make it easy. Now, the final piece that make sure you can get it right, okay? So this was this guy, right? Difference in size for my gear reduction is obvious in that case. So whenever you put all this together, this little spacer goes on top. I pulled this apart one night and then like waited for parts forever because I don't want to mention their names. It took forever and pissed me off. But this little nugget right here that is like you know, it's rolled over on each side. Then you have your bearing, then you have your speedometer gear, then you have a spacer, and then this guy right here, this will obviously rotate. Mine did not. It was seized up because, like I said, it came from the bottom of the Gulf. And then if you're standing it up this way, the beveled up part goes towards the large gear, which I figured out, obviously, after looking around. And I did have a little concern with the way this looks in here, which, let me turn on my light. You know, so it looks kind of janky in there, you know? It's just like, man, I have to order another one of these guys. See, it just looks like shit. And I looked at all the new ones online, looked like that. So I was like, cool, I'm good. Whatever. So yeah, synchro to go between high and low. And then this gear right here, this one is part of, I'm trying to remember what it is. Okay, so this piece right here that this rides on, this is your permanent part of this input shaft. This is your other gear, which obviously have to make sure it goes the right direction. Hard to screw up because the synchronizer engagement goes towards each other here and here. So obviously this thing right here can do its job between high and low. So it's hard to screw that up. This is the other little spacer, which looks like this guy, right? And then you got your bearing, which this, I I don't know if y'all's bearing comes with this little lock ring. Mine didn't, so I had to swap it out. That's fine. And then you got this right here, which is, I guess, your speedometer output here. Or not speedometer output here. I don't know what the hell that thing is for, actually. Like, I have no idea. But yeah, another little snap ring goes inside of here. And that's that, you know, in case anybody needs like a layman's breakdown for someone that's special ed like myself, you know, you might find this useful. Outside of that, the rest of the videos, they cover all this other shit very well. But yeah, like I said, for someone like me that needs a peace of mind to know step by step where this shit goes because stuff moves too fast, or you're ADD like I am and you jump around, like I said, I figured I'd take the time to make it a video that's useful. I just have to figure out my shifter configuration, which when I pull the old one out of here for the transfer case, I'll see how that goes, because I did buy a shifter rebuild repair kit thing for it, because that one's acting janky that's in there. And then I'll be able to rebuild that one a lot easier now that I'm going through all this. I'm about to put it back together. Got to check spacing, you know, it does have little shims. I did buy a shim kit. I got 2 of these output shafts, you know, a little bitty guy right there. You know, this is the spare one I got for the other one, and this is a little shim kit. It's one shim that came with something else, and then I bought an array of shims so I can get this right and not have to wait on parts. I've been waiting way too long for parts for this, and then unfortunately my buddy Vince was going to help me with this, and he's not feeling well. Which, Vince, if you watch this, get to feeling better, brother. You know I got your back. So I said, you know, let me dive in and do this myself, because I want full drive working, and I'm not going to sit there and make my buddy who's just not feeling well, you know, drag him out into Texas heat to dick with all this. But yeah, like I said, maybe someone finds this useful. I'm going to keep running forward, and hopefully this is done tonight. Tomorrow I will switcheroo and everything works good, hopefully, and I'll be able to go through my other transfer case and see what went wrong. I'm assuming mine was probably this guy, 2 of which the spare that I literally just used is now missing. So, Jesus, what am I gonna do with that damn thing? So you can see, if I could ever find it. Oh, there it is. Okay, so this is your difference between, this is like your, I guess, the 86 to 88 style, and then this is the HD, which I guess is just supposed to be 89 up. The difference between those, you can see, is astronomically different, all things considered. At the end of the day, the HD input shaft fits in the palm of your hand. I mean, that's how small Samurai parts are, right? But yeah, like I said, hopefully this was educational, guys. See if I can have some updates on this thing with 4-wheel drive, and I'll be a happy camper for now.